I want to tell a quick story. There are some places that you can go where the only way you are allowed to do business is if you have the original document. Yeah? They're not accepting no copies. Let me say something to us this evening. The People's National Movement is an original copy. It is an original document. When you make a copy of a document, and a copy of the copy, and a copy of the copy, and a copy of the copy, eventually, sometimes you're not even seeing the print on it. It faded out. And that is what is represented here in Tobago by other parties. They are just copies. But the People's National Movement stands as the only original. From the day of inception, we never changed the color. From the day of inception, we never changed the symbol. And from the day of inception, we never change with fervency. The People's National Movement is the only original in this election. And so this evening, I am getting ready to bring to you a product of the original party. A young man who many of us would have heard him on several platforms. A young man who has, as the Bible says, the fire shut up in his bones. A young man who stands as a proud young PNM, who is a product of PNM policy in Tobago, and who has represented this party on many platforms. Join me this evening as we send a clear message, as we send a clear signal. And I want the DJ to help me with this one as we introduce Mr. Delano Joe Field. Mr. DJ.
They not like us. They not like us. They not like us. They not like us. They not like us.
Milford Court, good evening. Come on, DJ, keep it running, keep it running, keep it running.
They not like us. 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 They not like us.
All right, Mr. DJ, thank you very much. Thank you, Master of Ceremony. PNM people, are they looking good? Are they sounding good? According to our brother from Trinidad, I hear a rumbling. That's it, that's it. To our candidate and our next Member of Parliament for Tobago West, the returning Member of Parliament for Tobago West, Mrs. Shamfa Cudjoe-Lewis. To our minority leader in his absence, members of the Tobago Council Executive, members of Party Group Executive, my Youth League family, where are you? To the brilliant, beautiful, bold people of Canaan, Bonaccord, and Crum Point. And most of all, special greetings to the heartbeat of this constituency, the youth, the future, the next generation of leaders, movers, and shakers. Tonight, we gather here under one banner, the bountiful banner of the People's National Movement, one that has been all in for Tobago West and all in for Trinidad and Tobago. And we are here with purpose, with passion, and with the people's representative, who is ready, and responsible, who has always been right there with you. Your returning Member of Parliament come the night of April 28th, Mrs. Shamfa Cudjoe-Lewis. A woman in whom we are well pleased. A woman who has stood up for us, fought for us, and shown what real representation looks like. She is not a representative who disappears after election day. She is not a representative you only see on billboards. She is a representative you can call. And even when she's not able to answer, she will call you back. You know her. You've seen her, whether it be at her constituency office, at school graduations, at funerals, at sporting events, or at youth programs. She has been present, visible, and active. And while others talked, Shamfa delivered. Put your hands together for your returning member of Parliament, Milford Court. Yeah! Let's talk about the big wins for Tobago under her stewardship. The 2.1 billion expansion of the A&R Robinson International Airport, unlocking opportunities and growth for our island. The over 30 million upgrade of the Dwight York Stadium, putting Tobago back on the map for sports and recreation. The disbanding of the TDC, giving Tobago the autonomy to build its own tourism identity through the Tobago Tourism Agency. But it's not just about concrete and building. It's about people. Shamfa designed and delivered programs that spoke directly to the youth. Empower TT, giving young men the tools to grow and succeed. Boss Lady program, empowering young women to lead and be confident. The Youth Lead, D-Camp, and 40 under 40, and skills training through handicraft brought via ECCL. Programs that open doors, build confidence, and create income. And even when facilities were denied for her to deliver these programs, she didn't quit. She found another space, because when it comes to developing the people of Tobago, Shamfa doesn't stop. And what about when settlement ignores your home improvement application? Or when THA goes silent with you when you apply for sporting and community funding? You know you can turn to Shamfa, and she will find a way through the Ministry of Housing, through self-help, through her own ministry in central government to help you move forward. Let's be real. Sometimes the THA sends you back to Shamfa for things that they are supposed to do. And guess what? Even then, she does her best to help. She never says, well, that is not my job, but rather, let me see what I can do. That is representation that you can depend on. That is Shamfa Cudjoe-Lewis. Yeah! Now, I know some people would come and say, well, we want someone new. We want a fresh face. But let me tell you this. Shamfa is still young, she is still fresh with ideas, and she is still hungry to serve. And what's better than someone new is a woman who already has proven that she can do the work and still has the energy to keep working and developing you. Don't let anybody fool you into thinking otherwise. We need action. We need access. We need power at the table. And that's exactly what Shamfa brings. She's a doer, not a dreamer. A fighter, not a follower. She's humble, but fierce. She's kind-hearted and strong. And most importantly, she cares. So if you're a young girl wondering if you can make it big, look at Shamfa. If you're a young man wondering if there's someone out there advocating for your future, look at Shamfa. If you want a leader who has walked with you, stood up for you, and delivered for you, vote for Shamfa. Vote for Shamfa. Vote for Shamfa. Vote, brothers and sisters of Milford Court. Vote. I want to ask you 3 questions. What will your tomorrow look like if you don't vote today? That's 1. Who will speak for you if you choose to stay silent? That's 2. And when decisions are being made about your future, your community, your job, your education, your livelihood, will your voice be in that room, or will it be missing because you didn't cast that one powerful vote? And I want you to ponder, because what I've realized is that everywhere we go, be it Mount Pleasant, Blackrock, Canby, Wim, we keep hearing the same thing. There are some people, especially young people, who haven't made up their minds to vote. But I came to remind you that your vote is your voice, and your voice is your power. And in a time like this, you can't afford to be silent. In a time when we are developing a nation, building human capital, expanding opportunities for youth, securing the most vulnerable in society, and ensuring that all our people are better off than they were many years ago, you cannot be silent. Silence is not strength. Silence is not rebellion. Silence is not protest. Silence is permission. Permission given to others to decide what happens to you, your family, your community, without your input, without your interests at heart. Ask yourself, when you're looking for a job and opportunities feel out of reach, did you vote for the person who can bring those opportunities closer to you? When you walk past a community center with locked doors or a field overrun with grass instead of players, did you speak up at the ballot box for someone who can advocate to change that? When you don't vote, you leave the door wide open for others to speak on your behalf. You let people who don't know you, who don't share your struggles, who don't understand your dreams, make decisions about your life. And I don't know about you, but I refuse to let somebody else decide what kind of life I'm going to live. And neither should you, brothers and sisters. And some of you would say, what difference does it make even if I don't vote? But look around. Everything you care about is impacted by the people you vote for. Subsidize inter-island travel, that's a policy. The ability to get a scholarship, that's a policy. Whether your community gets lights on the playing field, that's representation. Whether young people have access to training, grants, and mentorship, that's leadership. And if we want good policies, if we want true representation, if we want responsible leadership, we must choose. And that choice happens when we show up, when we wake up, when we vote. We must be the generation that not only talks about change, but shows up for it. We must be the generation that not only demands better, but votes for it. We must be the generation that not only understands that power sits in the parliament, but power rests in our hands on election day. So I say to you, youth of Canaan, Bonaccord, and Crown Point tonight, your silence will not protect you. Your silence will not feed your dreams. Your silence will not rewrite your future. But your voice will. Your vote will. You cannot be silent.
Yeah!
You cannot be silent. Not when it matters this much. Not when the stakes are this high. Not when your voice can shape the outcome. When your vote can further develop Tobago. You must vote, brothers and sisters. So on April 28th, vote responsibly. Vote conscientiously. Vote for Shamfa, Cudjoe-Lewis, and the People's National Movement. Brothers and sisters, vote for the People's Movement, created in 1956 with one goal, ensuring that the people of Trinidad and Tobago can stand with pride amongst other nations. Service is our story. Development is embedded in our history. And with one common goal and mission, we sung our war cry, brothers and sisters, Magnum SPNM, it prevail of it. Calling all who would have strayed back home. Calling young people with a desire to make a difference to join us. And calling those who are serious about this country's continued development to vote. Vote for the People's National Movement. Your movement, my movement, the People's Movement. Great is the PNM. Great is the PNM. Great is the PNM. And we shall prevail. I thank you.
They not like us. 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 They not like us.
I promised you only originals tonight. And we just heard from a young man that is an original product. Yeah, let's hear it again for young Delano Joe Field. And ladies and gentlemen, our flight is in air. We are soaring at 30,000 feet tonight. And our destination is in sight, just mere weeks away. But I want to remind us of something this evening. Because there are many of those who are coming around and going on speakers and going on the media and trying to tell us that we have to vote for two people. I want to remind us this evening, this is a sober meeting here. This is an election to elect a government. The government of Trinidad and Tobago. To form the government, you must command the majority of seats in the parliament. I don't know if my maths changed from then to now. I see we have some teachers in our midst. But the last time I checked, you cannot form the parliament with 2 seats. MP, are correct? You cannot form the parliament with 2 seats. And if you have to command the majority, then it means that you must add your 2 to something else to make up so that you could say we have the most. So the question tonight is, brothers and sisters, who they adding the seats to? We sure that it is not the People's National Movement because we are an original document. An original document. We have not changed, brothers and sisters. The Balize then is the same Balize today, and it can't dead. We understand governance. We have been doing this thing for a very long time. And that is why we continue to produce young people like Mr. Joe Field. That is why we continue to produce stellar young women like MP Shamfa, Cudjoe-Lewis. And that is why we will continue to produce young men like the man that I'm going to introduce next. Now, a couple of years ago, the people of Tobago woke up from a nightmare. A nightmare because it is still unfolding. And when the dust settled, they said 14-1. And many of us bowed in despair. Many of us retreated. You know how they say crab does pull into the shell? Many of us, like crabs, pulled into our shell. However, the one young man stepped up to the batter's plate. You ever watching cricket and the team down? There are plenty runs to make and only one bat. And that batsman came in. And he started to play some strokes. And he started to play. And the more that they bowl, the better he played the strokes. And you know we just say, when he knocks in, when his knocks came in, he started to swing bat. And we started to hit 4. Through the cover, over the top, 6 runs, 6 runs, 6 runs, 6 runs. And from then to now, he has been hitting the ball so far over the boundary that they cannot catch it. That young man I am going to bring to the podium this evening has held this administration with their backs against the wall. And that is how we came up with the quote, "One is enough." Ladies and gentlemen, if God be for us, who can be against us? Who could be against us? And this evening, I am going to bring that young man to the podium. That young man who stood for Tobago's defense, who spoke on behalf, not just of the People's National Movement, but spoke on the behalf of every person in Tobago. When things was happening in darkness, he brought it to light. When things was happening that we did not know, he uncovered it. The thing gets so hot that they started trying to make all kind of threats and all kind of things around him. They're trying to shut him up. But not tonight. They will not succeed. And he will continue to spread the gospel of the PNM. He will continue to prosecute them. He will continue to uncover every single thing that they're trying to hide from the people of Tobago. Ladies and gentlemen, this evening, join me as we welcome to the podium Assemblyman Kelvin Morris, the minority leader of the Tobago House of Assembly.
One accord, strong point, PNM people, PNM family, good night, good night, good night. Brothers and sisters, I am just loving this energy. You know, when PNM people come together, it's such a beautiful thing. Permit me, in his absence, to recognize our political leader, Tobago Council, Brother Ancil Dennis, Party Chairman, Tobago Council, Brother Larry Paul, our current Member of Parliament, and of course, come April 28th, the returning Member of Parliament for Tobago West, our hard-working, diligent Shamfa, Ashaki Cudjoe-Lewis. Good night. Permit me to recognize as well a special young man, a brilliant young man, an intelligent young man. You know, it is always such a pleasure to hear Delano Jofield deliver. And you know, after Delano goes through the list of things that Shamfa would have delivered on behalf of the people of Tobago West and Tobago, it gives you absolutely no doubt that two good terms deserve another. Because, you know, I listened, I saw Shamfa, she brought the fire in Plymouth, and then her twin sister, Ayana, she shelled it down in Roxborough last night. And every time I listen to those two young, brilliant Tobago women, I stand proud to be a member of the People's National Movement. Brothers and sisters, because you see, when it's all said and done, when you take away the noise, remove the bacchanal, and even the blame game, it all comes down to truth. It all comes down to who has delivered. And in Tobago West, we know that Shamfa has delivered. Brothers and sisters, who built the new Shervan police station? Shamfa and the PNM. Who was able, when we were getting challenges down this side, down in the southwest side, with water distribution? It was Shamfa and the PNM. When we had challenges with the inter-island ferry, and notwithstanding that the UNC and others were trying to block and hamper us from purchasing new fast ferries, who was able to deliver to the people of Tobago 2 world-class brand new fast ferries, Shamfa and the PNM. And when the PNM saw that Tobago's development is hinged on tourism and decided that as one of the fundamental principles, we will build a brand new international airport. And while you had those who were collaborating to try to block that development, who eventually delivered that first-class, world-class international airport, it was Shamfa, Cudjoe, and the PNM. So brothers and sisters, you are in a good place because you are members of a party that has a track record of delivery to the people of Tobago. And when you look across the length and breadth, if you go up in the east, you will see delivery after delivery after delivery. You would see the brand new hospital. And brothers and sisters, while the PNM has been delivering for you, the question we have to ask ourselves, after $10 billion have been spent in Tobago by this current administration, where is the delivery? And as you look around your communities, I want you to ask yourself, have you seen $10 billion in delivery anywhere in your community? Where are the paved roads? What is going on with our recreational facilities? As we speak, we are in one of the sporting capitals of Tobago. And we know Canaan Bonaccord used to be a place where we have a lot of sporting activities at the Canaan recreational ground. And brothers and sisters, I want to ask you, when last have you been able to go and view a match between Phoenix, whether it be Super League or the TFA? When last have you been able to go to the Canaan recreational facility and view a football match? When last? And you know what is the sad thing about that reality? That the very representative who is the era representative of Canaan Bonaccord is also the secretary responsible for community development, youth affairs and sport, and all your community recreational facilities. And while this is his very own area, a place he has trained, he has played football, right there, he has left that field in a state of neglect. And while that is happening, he is now coming to you all for a promotion. And my simple message to my friend is, brother, dance yard before you try to dance abroad. Because if you because if you can't fix something as simple as a field right in your home ground, a field that you yourself used to play and all your friends have to use, if you can't fix that, where you going to say you going to Trinidad to fix Tobago? Fix Tobago right here first. And as I told you, I know the candidate here very well. In fact, we played football together. And I know him to be a goalkeeper. And you know, the thing about a goalkeeper, they are in the business of, and I don't mean anything, Kimika. They are in the business of blocking things and shutting things down. What Tobago needs is a striker like Shamfa and Cudjoe who could get things done. So Kimika tonight, Tobago, we want a striker. We want an action. We want a performer. We want a creator, somebody who could create things to the young people of Tobago. And that is what you get in Shamfa Cudjoe. And brothers and sisters, while I speak to you, we must not forget the promises that they made to each and every one of us before. And I'm simply saying to you tonight, my brothers and sisters, that fool me once, shame on me. Fool me a second time, shame. And therefore, we are saying to them that before you got away and we gave you a chance, but once is enough. Because they are coming again to you and they are now trying to say, well, give we a chance. But governance is not a raffle. You cannot gamble with your future and the future of your children, especially when we look at what is happening across the world. We are not isolated from the things happening across the world. And if you don't believe me, just look what happened by one decision by one country, how it affected the world in terms of tariffs. And therefore, we have to be so careful as to the decision we are about to make. Brothers and sisters, you have had the opportunity to have a representative as part of a government that has been extremely responsible with the governance of the affairs of Trinidad and Tobago. And while you have that responsible government in Trinidad and Tobago, what we have seen in Tobago is reckless use of your very scarce resources. And I will give you a couple examples as the minority leader. Because you would have heard, and I'm sure by now you have heard, an audio recording. And you know, for some reason, you know there's a saying, what in the darkness eventually will come to light. So they're trying to blame the PNM. But it's not the PNM because we weren't there. We weren't there when they were having those conversations. And think about it, if they are having those conversations about those things, what else are they having? What kind of conversations are they having below the table that we are not seeing? But to take you back to that audio recording is about a situation where your taxpayers' money funded a trip which eventually became a line. And if you listen to the voice recording, one of the members of that line is now coming to you for your votes. And if they would see your taxpayers' money, your scarce resources are so useless, then what would they do if given the opportunity to manage? Because we asked the question in the Assembly Legislature, and we asked the Chief Secretary because we were told the original funding was for a trip to go to Tobago Day, which was around August the 26th. However, as you saw the thing play out, they ended up being funded for a trip for Labor Day, which was almost 2 weeks after. And when we asked the Chief Secretary about that arrangement, because I know if you came to the government for funding for one thing, and if situations change and you need funding for another thing, then you have to reapply. We asked the Chief Secretary, did they reapply? He said, no, they applied for multiple things. So I said, Chief, I have the invoice, where the invoice for the period covered simply a stay to cover Tobago Day. So is it that you have a new invoice? When he realized I caught him lying, he started to ask me if I don't like people from Roxborough. Started to gaslight the situation. So I want you to understand that audio recording is a serious, serious piece of information that speaks to your people in high public office committing fraud. And I want you to understand the reason why it is fraud, because if you have an arrangement where you approve public funds for one thing, and then without having any new application, you unilaterally backdate and change that information, then you have misbehaved in public office. So brothers and sisters, do not for 1 second believe that that clip is simply a normal clip in its truest sense of the word. And therefore, what it also exposes, again, is a chief secretary that just is a stranger to the truth. And, as I have been saying to you all, this chief secretary, I don't know if it's just, it has to be a sickness. It cannot be normal, because he lies and lies and lies. And the thing about this chief secretary, it seems as though he has the propensity to find people who lies just as good as him. And therefore, those two candidates who are coming before you, you have to appreciate that they are coming to you from a party that you just cannot trust. You cannot trust their word. Just today, I saw a release from TRHA, because we've been telling you how they have not fulfilled their promises. And today, out of the blue, after 2.5 years of not paying the workers in the TRHA their ex gratia of $1,000 on the cusp of an election, trying to mama-guide the people, they have suddenly found the money to pay. But I want to remind you, the people of Tobago, that remember, when they promised you that ex gratia, it was a promise of $10,000. And they only paid you $1,000. So brothers and sisters, the THA is owing you $9,000. So if they believe they can buy your vote, tell them they're owing. And brothers and sisters, you would recall many of your cousins, your friends, your tanti, your nenens, they would have promised that every contract worker in the THA will become permanent. Once you were working for over 7 years, you would become permanent. You know, as soon as the seat didn't even dry, they warm properly. As soon as they sat down on the seat and the power got into them, they turned around and they started firing Tobagonians left, right, and center. They didn't care if you had loan. They didn't even care if you had rent. They don't even care if you have a child. They don't even care if you have food to eat. They didn't even care that you are working there for more than 10 years, giving yeoman service to the development of Tobago. These wicked, heartless people came in and fired Tobagonians left, right, and center. And you know what? For all of you who have some relative who was fired, you have a chance, because I hear this chief secretary telling people about revenge. Well, you have an opportunity to take your first revenge, because one of those candidates I'm also sat in the executive council when those decisions were being taken. And now he is coming for your vote. So what I want you to do on behalf of your family, your friend, your cousin, your Tobagonian brother or sister is when they come, reject them, reject them, reject them, and vote for the PNM, PNM, PNM. So brothers and sisters, the PNM, Shamfa, Ayana, led by the visionary Stuart Richard Young, we have a plan of development that would impact the lives of every Tobagonian and your future. We are firm in our conviction that tourism can be that sector that drives and the boat that lifts every tide here in Tobago. And that is why we have placed that kind of focus and that kind of investment in that A&R Robinson Airport. We are now very firm in looking at investments in terms of tourism, in terms of hotels. You have Sandals as a prospect, Marriott and others, so that would create opportunities both in the construction phase. It would also open up real high-paying jobs for all of Tobago, you young people. We have the marina as another prospect that also opens up a whole new sector. It means that we are able now to get the kind of training programs in through Shamfa and through the Ministry of Youth and the Division of Youth to ensure that we can train our young people to provide the services that you would require for a marina. We are also going to expand the port to include a standalone cruise port, and that cruise port would bring in larger vessels, and those vessels would be able to bring more tourists to the island. And as you bring more tourists, you are talking about the taxi drivers, the tour operators, your craft people, your restaurateurs. It is about bringing more money into the pocket of every Tobagonian. That is the PNM's plan. We are talking about upgrading the Scarborough Esplanade. As a matter of fact, that was a project approved by the IDB and was there to be implemented. And through just the incompetence of this administration, that project has never gotten off the ground, just as the others. Dwight York Stadium, Goodwood Facility, Turpin Bend, Charlotteville Community Center. This administration has a track record of failure, failure, failure. And therefore, my brothers and sisters, as I close, this election, as the chairman of the meeting reminded us, is about electing a prime minister and a government, not two representatives. Two representatives cannot pass any legislation. Two representatives cannot give you autonomy. You need 31 votes in the parliament. Two representatives cannot provide Tobago with an increased budgetary allocation. What you need are two representatives who will be part of a cabinet that is part of a government that cares about Tobago, as you have seen with the People's National Movement. Because it is under this administration, Tobago have received its highest percentage of budgetary allocation year on year. Every year, we have received, Shamfa and Ayana and the PNM ensured that Tobago received more money. So every year, their budgetary allocation actually increased. So when you hear the saying about they're not getting no money and the PNM not giving, that is a complete lie. They have received over 10, and I want to go slow, $10 billion in the space of 3.5 years. And the question we have to all ask ourselves is where the money gone. So brothers and sisters, I am encouraging you to stay the course with the People's National Movement, and not just you by yourself. I want you to have the conversations with your relatives, with your friends, with your neighbors. Here in Tobago West, we will come out and vote resoundingly for Shamfa Cudjoe-Lewis. And in Tobago East, we'll come out and vote resoundingly for Ayana Webster-Roy. And when we do that, brothers and sisters, as one loving PNM family, we will all come together on the night of April 28th, and we will sing with one voice. Great is the PNM, great is the PNM, great is the PNM, and we have prevailed. I thank you.
Tell them what, and dipping down to me elbow, darling. From Spain to Canaan, we're making it through this moment. You are the reason. Higher than higher heights is all in it.
Come on, Milford Court. Let's hear it for Assemblyman Kelvin Morris, the minority leader of the Tobago House of Assembly. How we feeling? How we feeling? We enjoying this flight so far? Right. So we saw what original meant. We feel the original document. Then we see the power of one is enough. I want to tell us something tonight about being prepared. Tell your neighbor, being prepared. You see, because some people feel that we could wake up today and just decide we're going and do that. And we have heard many of the leaders of this great party say one of the downfalls of the PNM is that we make governance look easy. So everybody does wake up and feel we could do it. But I want to share something with us this evening. The standard bearer for Tobago West did not wake up and just decide I run in for a seat. Since she was a young lady, and I will remind her of some of the things tonight, young ambassador for CARICOM, represent, you remember that, MP? She represented as a young ambassador, DJ. She was the president of the Tobago Youth Council. Ladies and gentlemen, she didn't wake up yesterday and decide to do this. When she stood out in those capacities, she was the youngest senator appointed to this government in youngest ever Tobagonian appointed as a senator, opposition senator. And since then, she has been serving this nation for the past 15 years. She didn't wake up last week and decide that I'm going and do this. She is prepared. She has been prepared since she's young, and now she's still young. So ladies and gentlemen, tell me, in 2010, she was appointed. Yeah? In 2015, she was elected. In 2020, she was re-elected. And in 2025, she will be re-elected. So I want us all this evening If you could stand up, stand up. If you could stand up, stand up. Because after 15 years in the parliament, as Cass say, she come for this work. She didn't just wake up and just decide to do it. So everybody who decided last month, and they wasn't even in this election process, they had to force them into the work. They come in against their own will. Because if they wanted to do it, they would have come forward. So ladies and gentlemen, this evening, let us get ready to bring the fire. Let us get ready for our next Member of Parliament for Tobago West, a young lady who will continue to blaze the trail for the PNM and for the people of Tobago West and for the people of Tobago. Join me this evening as we welcome Member of Parliament Shamfa Ashaki Cudjoe-Lewis.
This woman put down and all the justice she attends and all the how she will deliver all she policy. So you must put your we got vote in the West.
Thank you to all the people of Canaan, Bonaccord, Crown Point and environs. PNM people, PNM family, what a distinct pleasure it is to fellowship with you this evening. Brothers and sisters, we gather here today, 12 more days to Decision Day, brothers and sisters. Serious times, serious people, serious business. We gathered here this evening under the banner of the People's National Movement, the only true national party dedicated to developing the people of this country. We are the People's National Movement, and in you, brothers and sisters, in our party, I must say, I am well pleased. I am pleased to stand before you this evening as your candidate in the upcoming general election, offering myself to serve you, to represent you, and to deliver to you once again. And this evening, I had the opportunity to walk for another time the area of Milford Court, an area that has been committed to supporting me, committed to supporting the People's National Movement, people who have sense in their head, people who understand what is at stake. And I want to take the opportunity, Milford Court, to thank you, to extend heartfelt thank you for opening your hands and your hearts and your homes to me and the PNM team this evening. I thank you, I thank you, I thank you. And this evening, I heard stories of disappointment. I heard stories of neglect. I heard stories from persons who had left the PNM to try something different and are speedily on their way back to giving us their support once again. I want to shout out the people who, when I got to the doors, they say, I can't wait, I can't wait, I can't wait. And I tell them it's only 12 more days because you tried, you experimented with something different. They came to you and they promised you all sorts. To the young men I met along the streets today who are still awaiting a call for a 10 on, 10 off. Young men with 3 subjects, 5 subjects, 7 subjects. In my walk down here, I even met a young lady with 13 subjects who went to her area representative seeking support for assistance to get a job, and to this day nothing. I've met young people and even seniors who have not worked in years. They were laid off and sent home
by this TPP administration and promising them that they would give them a call. There are those who were used and abused to peddle their lies and do their dirty work, and then showed up to work one day and being told, I had a conversation with God and God said I can't continue with you. These are the stories I heard. These are the stories told to me. I walked Milford Court today again, and there are folks who reported promises to pave, promises to fix the drainage, promises for support with their home refurbishment. You could remember when they wanted your vote, they went from house to house fixing roof. Yes, giving people brace wall, even baking and delivering bread to your doorsteps. And today they're putting single mothers out of bread. Today I talked to people who were awaiting a play park, a recreational space in Milford Court. Today they are building houses in the space for their family and friends. These are real stories, brothers and sisters. And the same people who already represent you now, who's responsible for this small area of Bonaccord, Crown Point, who cannot seem to catch their bearings, who you cannot find on a constituency day, who cannot return your call, who cannot share their own ideas with you, depending on somebody to slip them a paper to tell them what to say, where to go, and what to do. They are seeking to go down to the parliament to represent you. You are being told, brothers and sisters, that we are going to elect 2 persons to go down and fight for us. If you are already here, and this is your responsibility, to the people of Canaan, Bonaccord, Crown Point, from which you came, these are your people. You said you came out of the belly of these people, and you can't help them in a Tobago House of Assembly, of which you're a part. You sit on the executive. It is your duty and your responsibility to help them. You can't help them now. Why should we believe that you would go down to Trinidad, sit under Kamala, and help them like they've never been helped before? Tobagonians, you're big and you have sense. And you know very well that we have been here before. We can recall 5 years, 4 months, and 14 days of promises and no delivery, where they took all Tobago representatives down to the parliament and made them puppets. All of a sudden they forgot who they were, who they represented, and why they were even there. We had our own brothers and sisters fighting against us and creating stories to tell lies to Kamala. For their entertainment, they had UNC puppet masters. And I tell you today that what is being put before you is nothing different from what we had to endure from 2010 to 2015. Tobagonians, Milford Court, Canaan, Bonaccord, Crown Point. You're big and you have sense. You have been here before. We are at the cusp of the most serious elections we'll ever have to fight. We are at the forroads, the crossroads once again, where we have to make a decision as to who will lead our government, who we are willing to put in the driver's seat of our development. Are we going to trust Kamala Persad Bisesa and the UNC, or Stuart Young and the PNM? And I'm glad you said no to Kamala Persad Bisesa, because they are trying to confuse you and to confuse Tobagonians, telling us that them did some poll that say Kamala is who Tobago want. Tell them poll is thing for dog for piss. At the end of the day, brothers and sisters, it is we, Tobagonians, who had the experience, promise after promise. They promise us integrated university. Where is it, brothers and sisters? They promised us to increase the pension and to give you from the age of 60, and then they told you it was a misprint. When you make the comparison between Tobago under UNC leadership and Tobago under PNM leadership, you know, brothers and sisters, it's chalk and cheese. Look around, brothers and sisters, and tell me, what did Kamla Prasad, Bisesa, Rudal, Munilal, and friends do for you? I remember the Tobago Affairs Ministry of Tobago Development. If they held a function, they were bringing down to the plant and the flower pot from contractors in Trinidad. You got no business. You got no work. We stand here today and we must tell them that we remember. I spoke to a lady in a household today and she said, what are they trying to do to us? Where are they trying to carry us? So to try to bamboozle Tobagonians to tell us that you did some polls and Tobagonians calling for UNC. So when we tell people that they are with Kamla, we are helping them. Let me tell you something. We big. And we have sense. We are not puppets and we are not fools. And if you are so much in bed with Kamla, which we already know, you have already sold out, then you should be free to come out and say so. I want you to ask them who they're going to team up with. I want you to ask them who they support for Prime Minister. And you have to be careful, brothers and sisters, because these are the same folks who came to you with a PDP manifesto and promised you all things. And when they got out, they kicked out their PDP master. And then they separated themselves from the same promises they had offered you. And they tell you, well, we didn't promise you that. That was PDP. We are a new entity now. We are TPP. Some days they call themselves independent. So there was nothing to hold them accountable to. There was nothing to hold them accountable for. Because they separated themselves from the promises that they had made under the PDP manifesto. And you ask them to show you their offerings. What did they contribute to the people of Tobago? They are the ones who are quick to tell you, well, the government didn't send them enough money, but we know that that is untrue. Because here we are 3.5 years later, and $10 billion after, and we have little to nothing to show for it. They can tell you about trips. They can tell you about stage in the sea. They can tell you about roundabout and road to nowhere at $100 million. They can tell you about their friends' home and their bloggers' homes being built by the URP. But then they turn to you and tell you, we can't share with you this form for the grant on home refurbishment. But yet they're giving it out. They can't show to you or direct you where you can find the forms for athletes to apply for support. But yet they want to tell you about Shamfa Cudjoe and what she's doing in the ministry. Yes. I made Dwight York Stadium a priority to be fixed because it is the only stadium that Tobago has. And yes, we fixed Hazley Crawford Stadium. We did some refurbishment to Atto Bolden. And yes, Manny Ramjan and Larry Gomes had to wait because we had to find a competent contractor to do the packages and deliver the lights and so on. And yes, we are still working on that. But we have done significant work. And I could list what we've done in Trinidad. Pools in the different community, recreational spaces. But my business is to Tobago and my constituency first. So it's all right if you want to come for me about what's going on in Trinidad. I know we have delivered there, and yes, there's more work to do. But my allegiance, brothers and sisters, and my priority is to Tobago West and to Tobago. So don't tell me mind my business. Let me go and see what's going on in Atto Bolden Stadium. The business I'm minding is right here in Tobago West. Canaan Bonaccord, your business is my business. And that is why I want to ask why the Canaan Bonaccord recreational field is not fixed to the point that Phoenix is coming to me to ask to help them with their facility to give them lights. Where is your area representative who is supposed to be representing you? And as I continue to mind my business, it is me, Shamfa Ashaki Cudjoe-Lewis, Member of Parliament for Tobago West and Minister of Sport and Community Development, who had to extend hours at Dwight York Stadium so that the children from Tobago East and Roxborough Sec could journey to Dwight York Stadium to use the field there because the facility at their schools and in the East are dilapidated. Yes, it is me, Shamfa Shaki Cudjoe-Lewis, Minister of Sport and Member of Parliament for Tobago West, sitting on the cabinet to bring the services and the resources of central government to you who contributed over $100,000 to RSS Phoenix and the students of Roxborough for their sport program because you refused to fund them. And yes, it is me they came to complain that you bring a contractor to build a court in their auditorium. The contractor used the wrong material and wrong specification, so the court is of no use to the children of Roxborough Secondary School, who are the reigning champions in sport in the country, to the point that their auditorium cannot be used even to hold weddings to bring in any kind of income for the school. Should we continue? Yes, it is me, Shamfa Shaki Cudjoe-Lewis, Minister of Sport, Member of Parliament for Tobago West and Tobagonian in the cabinet, who had to contribute to Signal Hill Secondary, the material for the cricket nets that you decided not to give them. And the list goes on and on. So this is me minding my business, contributing to sport in Tobago, supporting and financing the sporting groups that come to me for help, supporting and financing the athletes who come to me for assistance because you refuse to finance them. And when they go to you, you're giving them the form for my ministry. Send them, I will help them. So as you listen to them night after night, telling the people lies after lies after lies. And you know, people say, you know, you should respond. But all of that is to try to distract you. But I would still touch on some. So last night, they said to their people that as it relates to the Corland facility, the beach facility that was built for Commonwealth Youth Games, they told the people that I was trying to stand in the way of delivering the facility, and I was trying to make them use a temporary facility at Pigeon Point. You hear lie? You hear lies? It was 2019 when we had taken up the decision, when we won the bid to have the Commonwealth Youth Games here. And at that time, the original plan was to use a temporary facility at Pigeon Point because that is where they used to have the beach volleyball. Yes? And at the very late minute, the Tobago House of Assembly decided that they want to build a beach facility. And my question remains, are you going to get it built in time? Because we had arrangements and stipulations and so on with the Commonwealth. And you would remember the Tobago House of Assembly refused to come to the table to meet with me. It was me having to write to the Commonwealth Secretariat to tell them, I am confident that it would be on time. I am confident that it would not affect the environment. And I am confident that we are going to be ready. When the THA refused to come to the table to meet so that we could stand in one united accord to tell the Commonwealth that we as a country are ready. You would remember there was a meeting at CAST and they said that they would come and then never showed up. And then I was so disappointed to hear the candidate for the TPP tell the crowd last night that, imagine I try to keep them back with the facility and then I just show up at the commissioning and I leave, because that is typically my behavior. He must be mixing me up with his campaign manager. Because, brothers and sisters, I was not invited to the commissioning, so I did not attend. So what I would ask my friend is to do his own research, stop drinking hot tea or whatever for somebody else flu, for somebody else fever, and stop reading every little thing that they give you. You're big. And I trust that you have sense. And I trust you to think. And I trust you to decipher, because if you make it down to the parliament, it ain't going to have nobody to slip you no note. You wouldn't get to read nobody else's speech. Every pot sits on its own bottom and you would be required to stand up and speak. And there was another night, I heard them say on the platform that I did not fund Tobago groups to go down for Best Village. You heard that? And that I starving Tobago. Foolishness. It was many years ago that the Tobago House of Assembly decided that they would take control over Best Village in Tobago, even though it's a national program, because we were working with the same groups from Heritage. So the Assembly said, we already deal with these groups, let us take care of the Tobago portion. And when it's time for them to come to Trinidad and so on, they would make the arrangement. But this year we changed the rules for Best Village because we wanted more school children to be a part and more people to enter the competition. And Tobago showed up. Tobago showed out to the point that it is Tobago that won Laren Rivet this year after, I think, over 10 years. So, if the candidate would take a moment and not just read what they give you to say. You could have sat down a moment and sit with Julian Skeet, who was the administrator of tourism and culture at the time, who wrote to my permanent secretary in the Ministry of Sport with option 1 and option 2, and he recommended that we take option 2 to do the Tobago finals in Tobago, covered by the ministry, and we, the ministry, agreed. Because just like the other Port of Spain, San Fernando, and so get to perform in front of a home crowd, and they think they get home crowd advantage, the stakeholders in Tobago wanted us to do their competition in Tobago too. But no, even this evening I met Miss Hosford, a culture icon, who I worked with when I was singing at Scarborough Secondary. And she congratulated me for having the Best Village competition in Tobago, making it bigger and better for the home crowd. So who are these candidates who are being given these scripts to read to come to tell you that we had to have Best Village in Tobago because Shamfa didn't have enough money to carry the people to Trinidad? Lies! Utter lies. And I hear them telling the youngsters that they are unable to give them the jobs because central government did not send the money. I want you to ask them, what did you do with the $10 billion? What did you make priority? When you were given the opportunity in 2022, 23, 24, and now 25 to give these same youngsters jobs and opportunity and grants for businesses, I walk here and there are so many people asking for support for their businesses, and you are right here among them calling them auntie and cousin this, and you can't help them. And as I mentioned that, I want to share with you another lie. And I'm sharing this one with you because they very well waste me like a time. I had to hear my chief secretary, and you know what upset me? People that say that he lies. And I try not to join in with them because I try to look at him as a man of honor. But I heard him say to his crowd that imagine, or let's say Shamfa is love, and imagine it have one of her neighbors who living under tarpaulin after he roof blow off. Brothers and sisters, I spend days going house to house in Church Street, Bethel, looking for this neighbor of mine who living under this tarpaulin to help him. I walk north, south, east, west, asking for this Mr. Lashley. Brothers and sisters, do you believe that it took me days? And it's eventually my neighbor named Jogi came and spoke to my mother. And he said, yes, I'm expanding my, come on, man. Talk to me. Testing, testing. Testing, yes. So let me tell you about this Mr. Lashley, who's supposed to be my neighbor that living under this tarpaulin. So we went looking for Mr. Lashley, only for Jogi to come to my mother's house to say, yeah, I'm doing some expansion, and I'm not living under no tarpaulin. I have extra material for the building that I'm building, so I put it under the tarpaulin to shelter it from the rain. My chief secretary, your chief secretary, a stranger to the truth. But that goes to say, brothers and sisters, if you take a look at what I just mentioned to you, they ain't really discussing nothing on them platforms. They're not really sharing anything with you new, no plans, no ideas, no vision. They come here to promise to you all sorts and think that the same way they got in the Tobago House of Assembly, they would fool you into trying to get into central government. Once again, brothers and sisters, but you are big and you have sense. And every single night they are fooling you. And their whole platform is built on balderdash, bunk and bad mind. I want you to tell them we big. And we have sense, because what they are doing is trying to rally up their base, and they make their decision and speak from a position of lies, misinformation, miseducation, helplessness, hopelessness, and hate. But we are not of that in the People's National Movement. So this is a decision that you have to make. You have to make a comparison, because we have been delivering to you from generation to generation, brothers and sisters. It is when the PNM came to leadership in Tobago in 2001 that we were able to build all over Tobago, and even right here in your backyard. It is the PNM that gave you the Canaan Bonaccord Community Center. AC Dong. It is the PNM, brothers and sisters, that built Cove right in your backyard, and this is separate and apart from the support given to the Tobago House of Assembly and their allocations. Separate and apart from that, because we believe in Tobago and we have bigger dreams and aspirations for the Tobagonian and the Tobago economy, because we love and we enjoy a decent standard of living. And in order for that to take place, the economy have to run. It can't dead and slow like it is now. The place heavy, and you all know that. Nothing happening. The business people complaining. The tourism people complaining. Everyday boy and girl, woman and child complaining. Today I met mothers who are having problems in getting placement for their children in schools. And they are lying to them and telling them it's Trinidad. When they refuse to take responsibility for their actions and for what they're in charge of, they're telling the people a bag of lies. Oh, it's Trinidad responsible for placing their children in school. Education is under the Division of Education in Tobago. They're telling you that is when you vote for us, we go fix your roads. That is already your responsibility. So I want you to ask them, what have you done with the 10 billion? And what are you going to do to help us? It is People's National Movement who delivered this spanking new airport. $2.1 billion in investment to Tobago, separate and apart to the allocation of the Tobago House of Assembly. It is the People's National Movement who tried to bring you sandals once and will work very hard, very diligently with Tobagonians to bring to you sandals once again. When they were in opposition, they told us when they come in, they would give it. It's not good for us to do it, but it's good for them. It's the People's National Movement that built the Shervan Police Station, built the Roxborough Police Station, the Roxborough Fire Station, the Roxborough Hospital. And this is not only about setting up buildings. It's about giving work to our youngsters so that they would be able to take care of their households, send their children to school. So don't run no little ad telling me about bread and butter issues and the cost of living. You don't care about the cost of living for Tobagonians if you are sending them home day after day after day. Single mothers, qualified persons who graduated from university, you have them at home. I met nurses who have the qualification and they cannot get into the hospital, but people who scored lower than them are inside. They encourage you to vote for them. They say, don't worry, come over, we will take care of you. And when you got over to the other side with them, they cuss you still for being PNM. Come home. Come home to the loving arms of the PNM, because you can't even get them at their constituency office. You can't get them on the phone. When you call them, they're telling you, ease me up. Ease me up. So brothers and sisters, it's more than simply winning the election. It's about delivery. It's about improving your water capacity as we have done as the People's National Movement. Building the pipeline from Signal Hill to, I don't like to call it Apex because that used to be the spot I used to go for my wings, but we can't go there again, you know why. Brothers and sisters, it is the People's National Movement who finally desilted the Hillsborough Dam, separate and apart to the allocation to the Tobago House of Assembly. This is from the central government loving and caring for Tobago, and you have to ask them, what have they done? Show me one community center they have built. Show me one playing field that they have fixed and refurbished. It is your People's National Movement who expanded the electricity capacity at Cove to support a growing Tobago economy. And we talk about programs for the youngsters. And these programs did not just start this year or last year because we know an election coming. I give you Empower TT that was started since 2019, serving young men in Tobago who would have dropped out from school and looking for employment, looking for direction. We work with them. Boss Lady Project for the women who want to be entrepreneurs. Dream Chasers program and the Youth Lead program for the youngsters who are looking to be ready for the world of work. It is we, the People's National Movement, who gave to Tobago again National Commission for Self-Help, because when Kamala did lose in 2013, she had cut off Tobago from many of the social programs, including self-help. So Tobagonians, don't play crazy and play you forget. 2010 was just 15 years ago. And we do remember the injustice, the wickedness, the evil, and the bad mind. They had all representatives in Parliament telling you that in Tobago we just wrap up babies in foil paper. Brothers and sisters, you're big and you have sense. This is a serious election. This is about preserving free education and opportunities for the young people. It is about providing avenues for employment and developing capacity for our youngsters. It's about strengthening the social safety net for our seniors. It's about having two representatives who could manage, who can go down to the Parliament and represent your interests, who could sit around the cabinet table and negotiate and deliver to you development programs that you had never seen before. Under the arms of the People's National Movement, one party, one government, one vision, one mandate, and it goes beyond a plan and a vision, because today everybody has some plan. Everybody has some vision. Everybody's selling your dreams and selling you promises, but we in the PNM, we have a commitment to continue growing, a commitment to you to continue building on that solid, strong foundation that we have given to you. There is something to compare to. There is work to show, brothers and sisters. We in the People's National Movement, 69 years long and 69 years strong. And we don't just say that to mean we in tongue long. We have been working. We have been representing. We have been serving. We have been delivering. And every single one of you can attest to that. Every Tobagonian, whether you support us or not, whether you have voted for us or not. You youngsters, you can speak about your girlfriends and wives and so on who have benefited from the gate. You can speak to your friends who have benefited from grants at BDU and from NEDCO. Just last month we distributed to 39 youngsters $20,000 apiece in grants. And just last week we delivered to over 56 Tobagonians up to 50,000 each to help them to refurbish and construct their homes. We don't hide our application forms. You can collect them at the constituency office. You can collect them at CAST. And we as your MPs help to follow up. There are those who sit opposite, who cuss in the PNM day in, day out. They didn't show up to the distribution ceremony, but in the end of it all, they came, they snuck, and they collected their grant, and they sent back to say thank you. Because we are the PNM. We serve everybody. If there is a need, our duty is to supply. It is our duty to help you, to work with you. And that is what Ayana Webster Roy in the East has been doing. And that is what I have been doing in the West. We have our public days weekly. We see the people. We answer your calls. Our numbers have not changed. And you can call us any time, a night or day, and you are sure that we would get back to you. We would answer you. We would provide support to the school children like we do every year. We provide hampers in and out of COVID, in and out of Christmas season. We provide support to those who are seeking tertiary education. We support the single mothers. We support those with health needs, brothers and sisters. We sit in the Parliament and in the cabinet and labor for you. And there is a track record to show, brothers and sisters. In a time like this, nobody is going to come from outside and save you. It is we who have to keep standing in the gap for our children. It is we who have to continue to do the necessary to build a solid and stable economy. There are many promising you all sorts. just to get your vote. We're going to spend on this, we're going to spend on that, we would give you this, we could give you that. And when you ask them how are they coming up with the income, how are they coming up with the money to supply those needs and to fulfill those promises, they say, we would find it somewhere, blah, 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 blah. No plan, no vision. All they know is they want to get back in office to continue to sell away all that is Trinidad and Tobago, to give contracts to their friends, to sign away all patrimony to their friends and family, to spend $9 million to move a truck, a fire truck that cost $2 million from a little piece of wall, to pay $34 million in life support for a maths class that never happened. Tobagonians, you're big and you have sense. And I tell you, this is not about coming here to bad talk or to bash any candidate personally. I'm not in that. We have enough history. We have enough delivery. We have enough performance. We have served you enough to speak about that night after night, day after day. This is about the issues. This is about minding the people's business. It is about putting Tobago and Trinidad and Tobago on a path to progress like we have been doing. Yes, it is your people's national movement that have made the hard decisions. Made the hard decisions and taken the necessary action so that our economy could be strong enough that we did not have to falter or cower to the IMF. We kept the economy solid. And as we move on to our next chapter, it is more so about leadership with compassion, freeing up the social assistance system so that more people can benefit, providing more opportunities for our youngsters to have something proper to do, because 10 on, 10 off ain't doing nothing for them. 10 on, 10 off till August is an election gimmick, brothers and sisters. And I want you to ask them what happens after that. Tobagonians, you're big and you have sense. And as we stand here this evening in Canaan, Bonaccord, Crown Point and environs, here in this little park, we are out in our numbers in already, because we are serious about the nation's business and we understand what is at stake. There are some people who see this election as a joke. There are some people who pull candidates from all corners as a joke. But this is serious business. This is about our future. This is about the little children, brothers and sisters. We are out here tonight because we understand the seriousness of the exercise, and we are standing in the gap for those who can't show themselves. We are standing in the gap for those who were laid off. We are standing in the gap for those who were promised a job and was never called. We are standing in the gap for those who were promised support for their business, and now because it's election time, you give them $1,000 and tell them, bossa cook. Cook some guana and dumpling. Cook some duck and dumpling. Here, a little $5,000. Don't matter. Don't worry, we can take care of you after. Where was that care last year and the year before, brothers and sisters? So this is a clarion call for each and every one of you to wake up and mind your business. Don't mind that you don't see everybody you want to see out here each night. There is reason for that. And I want you to call out your neighbors, your brothers, your sisters, your friends, and let them know this time we're rolling with the people's national movement. This is your opportunity. This is your opportunity to undo the mess that you made then. This is your opportunity to stand in defense of Tobago and stand in defense of your country. This is your opportunity to defend our democracy. And I say defend your democracy because democracy is about people going out there and placing their votes based on the information that is available to them. And today they are making huge investment to distort the information available to you. They are filling the airways with lies. They are filling the airways with racism. They are filling the airways with this talk that PNM don't do nothing for black people. Brothers and sisters, I need you to stand up against that because you know very well what the PNM has offered and has done for each and every single one of you. So as I told you before, I'll tell you again. And CNC3 and the reporters could make meme all they want. I'm telling you, if they give you a 40,000, take it. And tell them 40,000 is not enough. We want more. And if they give you a fridge, tell them you want the one with the double door. Where you chuck your cup so and you can get your ice cube or crushed. Yes, we in that. If you're giving things, we like that. Bring it over, we will take it. But on election day, we put in our X by the balize. Because that balize has been tried, tested and true, proven and trusted from generation to generation. It is that balize that sent our little children to school and gave them free books and free lunches. It is that balize that caused us to eradicate latrine from our backyard and we all now could boast about toilets and bathrooms. It is that balize that sent the daughter of a CPEP worker and the son of a fisherman to university to become a pilot. It is that same balize that give us grants to support our business and refurbish our homes. Tried, tested and true. Standing in the gap for you, I want you to tell them, we remember, and on election day, we are going out to use this index finger. God don't sleep. God don't sleep, and we knew that one day this day would come to give us the opportunity to jump out. So I want you public servants who they're victimizing at work and telling you can't post, and if they see you somewhere with a red jersey, they call you into office to have a long talk. Tell them we ain't want no smalls and no long talk with you on election day. We know exactly what we're going out there to do. We will beat them in the east. We will beat them in the west. We will crush them in San Fernando and we will run them in Tobago. Tell Kamala Prasad, Bisesa, that Tobago West is not for sale. Tell the UNC that Tobago East is not for sale. We are not concerned about what kind of arrangement and selling out you have with Farley. That is for you and he and Chrislyn and whoever they accuse of taking bag of money, it's alleged, because you know they like to carry people courthouse, but everything they carry courthouse, they ain't win yet.
Yeah!
And win yet. So I stand here, brothers and sisters, ready and responsible to make my way to the polls to let them know that we are not fools and we are not for sale. And whether the $100,000 made it to Tobago safely or not, we would take it. We would spend it, and on election day we would ram it. We would ram that X by the balize. We would vote for integrity. We would vote for order and decency in public office. We would vote for Tobago dignity. We would vote to preserve the inheritance for our children. We would vote to PNM. We will vote. We will vote. We will vote every every single one of us, we will vote. On election day, we will make our way to the polls and we will vote, brothers and sisters. And on election night, after you call out your neighbor, after you use your car and you give somebody a drop, after we make the rounds from 6 a.m. to 6 p.m., after we protect the interests of our children, after we tell Kamala where to put she 40,000, after we tell Farley that we are not for fools, after we tell Faith that the people with prostate cancer tired of using the suitcase for pillows, brothers and sisters, on election night, after we have counted every single vote and victory is won, we will come back here. We would meet in Market Square where we loudly sing our song, tell them, great is the PNM, great is the PNM, great is the PNM, and we shall prevail. I thank you.
People in the West, are you ready? Shamfa, Cudjoe, Shamfa, PNM people. So you must put your ex. We go vote in the West. PNM choose the best. Representative next. This woman ain't easy. This woman too tough.
Yeah. Milford Court, you're big. And you have sense. Tobago, you're big. And you have sense. That, brothers and sisters, is an original document. You could take it to the bank. That is an original document, as they call she Shamfa. Thank you, MP. Because there's nobody could bring it with clarity like that. Down to earth. A conversation this evening. An honest conversation. But before we leave this evening, before we leave here, there's a job for us to complete. Now, I know this area is a prayerful area. There's a lot of persons who believe. And there's a portion of scripture in the book of Mark chapter 16. When Christ appeared to the disciples, he said to them, go. He said to them what? Go into all the world and preach the good news. He said, and they that believe, they had a responsibility to convince people, to make them believe in the message that they was carrying. And tonight I want to say this, brothers and sisters, that excitement and exuberance without works is not what going to give us the victory. Because faith without works is dead. So as we leave Milford Court this evening, as we leave and we head to our homes, as we leave and we see our neighbors on the side of the road, the taxis, the police station, the policemen that in the court here, I want us to remember that we have a message to deliver. And that message, the delivery of that message is going to be fulfilled on the morning of April 28th. Let us take this serious. We have heard a lot tonight from our speakers. And this is not about convincing you, because you are the converted. This is about the converted converting others and taking the message throughout all of Tobago West to ensure that persons understand what is at stake in this election. Yes. So brothers and sisters, when we leave here tonight, anybody that you meet, yes, go and camp by the police station and all. Anybody that you meet who is not a believer, You have a responsibility to convert them and give them this message so that on the morning of April 28th, just as we gathered here, get back to your right self. You're correct. We're going to get our neighbors. We're going to get we sisters, we brothers, we uncle, we auntie, we grandmother, and get everybody together. We're going to make sure that everybody come out on that day so that we can not just come and celebrate, but that we can step into the new chapter of leadership and governance that only can be provided by the People's National Movement. Brothers and sisters, this evening I want to thank you for coming out in your numbers, for coming out in support, for coming out and showing the commitment. We don't afraid of them. We're not hiding. We're not hiding from them. And we know that on that great day, we are going to come together, we will celebrate, and we will continue on to the next challenge. Brothers and sisters, reach home safely. Have a wonderful night. Mr. DJ, take us out with something.
Trinidad and Tobago. We ready now.
Calling out all of me, friends and family with love for TNT. From the mountain top to the valley low, everywhere we go, country before party. PNM, we working together, we building together, and we'll make it better. PNM, side by side, together, we standing together for our nation's future. This is a movement we all in together.
Yes.
Just the one, my sister, my brother.
As we leave, I want us to remember, I want to take the opportunity just to remind us, on Saturday, what do we have? The big red rally. No. Let me do it again. On Saturday at 4 p.m. in Goodwood, what it is we have? The big red rally. Let us come out in our numbers because we don't afraid them. Mr. DJ, go ahead.
Ready, yeah, we all there. Ready, yeah, we all there. We all ready, yeah, we all.
Calling on the Red Army.
Ready, yeah, we all.
Trinidad and Tobago.
Ready, yeah, we all.
We ready now.
Calling the red.
Well, I don't know why my principal talk about PNM and so much F before I